Professor Steiner here, and I want to talk about an aspect of self-defense that's very important. It is in regard to your view of your assailant, of any assailant. And that is, it's very important that you never overestimate any attacker, just as it's very important that you never underestimate any attacker. It's very important also, and I want to discuss this too, that you never overestimate or underestimate yourself. It's very difficult, I think it's impossible, but at the very least it's very, very, very difficult to assess the capabilities and intentions of anyone who attacks you or who presumes to threaten you and gives you the sense that you may be under attack at any moment. People are very deceiving with regard to appearance, and often their demeanor can be very deceptive. Somebody can appear to be, through the way he's behaving, very tough and very brash. For example, I witnessed this a long time ago, but I witnessed this. This guy was minding his own business. This was in school, by the way, so you know it was a long time ago, way back in the dark ages. One kid was essentially minding his own business, and he was looking for a book on a shelf, and this other jackass, a bully, tough guy, comes along. Hey man, what are you looking for? Oh, just a book. Hey, you don't need that. And he started pestering him and trying to provoke him. And the kid, who was smaller than the other guy, turned around and he says, hey, look, I just got to do some work here. I got to do some schoolwork. And the big guy goes, hey, don't you talk to me like that. I'll knock your teeth. And he presumed, he went right into this aggressive demeanor. And the smaller kid, very surprisingly, looked at him and says, hey, better leave me alone. I'm not going to take any shit from you. And the guy backed off. Now, you would never have thought from the persona he presented that he was at all intimidable. No, he was a tough guy, and he was going to push this little guy around. But the tables were turned and reversed. Now, there's no guarantee that that would happen, but it's an example of what I'm talking about. Just because somebody acts like a tough guy, usually the person who acts like a tough guy, who outside the context of training comes across like the attacker, like he's a big shot. We better not mess with him. Usually, he has very little to offer. Not always, usually. And usually the guy who is composed, poised, doesn't look for trouble, but he maintains a dignified demeanor, he's a guy you better think twice before you mess with. These are not hard and fast rules, but I bring this up only to make the point that it is a mistake to snap judge someone. Oh, this I better watch out for this guy. He's dangerous. Or this guy's a pushover. Don't make those assumptions. Now, in regard to your attacker, it's very important for this reason. Remember, in American Combato, we're only concerned about dealing with serious attackers. The techniques that Professor Bryans is demonstrating on his lessons, these are techniques that you would use with 100% commitment, all-out speed, and you'd follow up, and you don't give a damn how much damage you do to your opponent, because you're in danger. Okay? That's what we're concerned about. And with that in mind, that we are concerned only with the most serious situations, I want you to think about this. Once you are attacked, you have nothing to lose by fighting back, by going after your assailant, by attacking him, by resisting 100%. Because once you're under attack, you're going to be beaten, perhaps maimed, maybe killed. You have nothing to gain by looking at this assailant and adding to his already inflated ego your conviction that he is formidable and to be feared and you can't deal with him and you can't overcome him. That doesn't help you. In fact, one Marine Corps manual on hand-to-hand combat, you may have seen it it's a small manual. One of the things it lists for the Marines is feel superior to the opponent. It doesn't tell you how, it just tells you to feel superior to the opponent. And at first blush that may sound silly, but it's good advice. Your assumption when you are under attack must never be that your opponent is fearsome and too fearsome to deal with. You're overestimating him. He may be a lot easier to deal with than you think, but even if he is difficult to deal with, all the more reason why you need all of your resources to destroy him. You keep that in mind. When you go after your attacker, no matter how formidable he is, you're doing something that he is not expecting, and therein lies an advantage. If you overestimate him and hesitate to do anything, oh my God, I don't want to hit back, I don't want to push him away, I don't want to do anything, he may get angry. He's already angry, that's why he's attacking you. But if you react as though you were superior to him, it carries a morale edge that can carry you through a dangerous situation successfully. Don't overestimate your assailant. Don't underestimate him either. Don't think you're just going to do one or two things that are real simple, or you're going to wrap him up in a hold, or you're going to make him submit, or any of this nonsense. Hey, he may knock your block off while you're trying to do that. Respect the opponent. Always assume that he is formidable, but don't care about it in a violent emergency. Just respect the fact that he is a dangerous individual, and then you might take that advice in that old Marine Corps manual. Always act superior to the opponent. Assume that you're superior. And go get him. Attack relentlessly with everything you've got. You have nothing to lose. In training in self-defense, one of the things that occurs with our students, Mark's and my own, students develop a great deal of confidence. And that confidence, we as instructors are careful to moderate with a certain amount of discretion. In other words, you want to have a tremendous amount of self-confidence, but it must not become overconfidence. You don't want to overestimate yourself. Don't think of yourself as a weakling, but don't think of yourself as a Superman either. Be prepared to go all out, to focus 100% on defending yourself if you must. But don't assume that you're a Superman, and don't fear that it won't work because you're not a Superman. Always keep a realistic attitude. You are going to defend yourself if you have to. No matter what. If 10 people attack you and you do nothing, will you be better off than if you attack them and maybe take one or two out? There was a horrific situation that occurred in New York City recently. A 14-year-old girl was set upon by this group of monsters literally, there must have been about 8 or more of these young male punks who knocked her to the sidewalk and beat her. They kicked her. They took her cell phone. One of these animals took her shoes off and took her shoes. Now, this girl was traumatized. Obviously, she was badly hurt. Honestly, it would have been wonderful to hear that she had pulled a knife out and maybe slashed the throat of one of them. Probably would have scared the others. You've got to be a coward to get together with a mob of other people and jump a girl and knock her to the sidewalk. What kind of garbage in human form carries out an act like that? Now, obviously, those were overwhelming, life-threatening odds, but she would not have fared worse if she had been able to resist and do some damage to them, and she might have discouraged the unbridled violence that they were able to generate against her. In any case, please remember this. All human beings have the same weaknesses, the same vulnerabilities. I'm not talking about psychological vulnerabilities. I don't care how large a man is, I don't care how strong he is. If I attack his eyes or his throat or his testicles or his knees, I'm going to cause damage. And if I don't stop and keep on attacking, I'm probably going to stop him from hurting me. And I may be weaker than he is, but I don't care. I'm not going to underestimate myself in an emergency, and don't you underestimate yourself. I'm not going to overestimate myself by thinking anything I do is going to work because it was taught to me in a martial arts class. I'm going to use the foulest, most vicious, destructive, dangerous actions I'm capable of because I don't underestimate my assailant. And I'm going to go after him because I don't overestimate him. Keep this balance, keep this in mind, and it can go far in helping you to defend yourself if you must.